Okay, now let's back to this verse. Actually, it's a very interesting verse. It might take a little more time. We are on the same of chapter 1. Maybe here I say page, it's L.14, L.14, 1-4, and page 71. I think we come to, we are still talking what I call that, rebuffing the temptation of Mara from the Book Common Buddhist Text. Today, what's the date today? 20th of December, 20th, yeah, 20th of December 2018. Okay, let's just continue the reading first. Let me see where we are now. Is on after the Namuji, and then or maybe best to start from here. To Mara, who spoke thus, right? Anyone found that paragraph? Everyone?
Mara, who spoke thus.
Yeah. David, did you find it?
Sure.
Yeah.
To Mara, who spoke thus, the blessed one said this: kinsman of the negligent evil one, you have come here for your own purpose. I do not have even this slightest need of more beneficial karma. Mara ought to speak to those who do have the need of it. Faith, vigor, and wisdom are found in me. Why do you ask me? One who is thus devoted to striving about life. This wind would dry up even the stream of the rivers. Why should my brother, one devoted to striving, not be dried up? When my blood is being dried up, then the bile and film are dried up. Then the flesh wastes away, and the mind becomes clearer, and all the more my mindfulness and the wisdom and meditative concentration stand firm. Okay, shall we just stop there for a little while? Anyway, so, you know, when the mother was trying to pursue the Buddha, trying to, you know, do something else. So, and then that's what the Buddha trying to refute, saying that, so that's kind of like a kinsman of the negligence, right? It means somebody who is not work hard, certainly work hard in terms of the wholesome thing. So, and he say the evil ones, you come here for your own purpose, and ask him, so you could just go to speak to those who need it. In other words, the Buddha said he doesn't need it. So anyway, so and then the Buddha start to try to say the opposite meaning of negligence, and kind of like, you know, faith, vigor, and wisdom are found in me. I'm sure that this is very common in the Buddhist understanding. One is about the faith, and second is that you need to mentally work hard, and then also the wisdom. So, and otherwise, so even though it's a kind of Buddha trying to say, even though when the blood is dry up and so forth, you know, I will still firmly establish my mindfulness and wisdom and my meditative concentration. That will always stay firmly with me. Okay, we can just read the next paragraph. I think that's a little interesting, the next one.
When I dwell like this, having reached the highest feeling, my mind has no regard for sensual pleasures. See a being's pure state. Sensual pleasures are your first army. Discontent is called your second. Your third is hunger and thirst. The fourth is called craving. Dullness and lethargy are fourth. They are your fifth. The sixth is called fear. Your seventh is vacillating doubt. Hypocrisy and obstinacy are your eighth. Gain, reputation, honor, and whatever fame is falsely received, and whoever both extols himself and disparages others, that is your army.
Okay, thank you. Right. Let's just, I mean, here actually the Buddha lists out about, here at least in the number, he lists out about 8, right? However, if you look at the number 9, there was again reputation, honor as a number 9, and then also kind of what they call extol himself and desperate other as a number 10. It's, according to the commentary, that's including as a 10 kind of the Dhamma. So that is which believed to actually is the like the army, or you could say the servant, something like that, or the army of the army or the servants of the Mara. So first it's said that because according to the commentary said when the Buddha mentioned about that when he having reached the highest feeling, so and his mind has no regard for sensual pleasure. So of course in that way actually the Buddha saying that as the army of the Mara, they have the sensual pleasure. So that's why he said that's your first army. And then now the Buddha has get rid of that because he has a better meditation or highest feeling in his mind. That is the first thing he basically that's what he wanted to claim. And later, according to commentary, it's very interesting. He's saying that when those at first those lay people or householders beings foolish, or you could say fool themselves, you know, by having the sensual pleasure on what to, but on something they believe is real for them, like, and also the sensual pleasure on the 烦恼 kilesa, okay, on the kilesa. So you know a lot of people when they have this hatred, they have craving, they take that as they delight in those things, like that. So he referred to that's commentary explained later, saying that at first, so when they have those things, either because they have the sensual pleasure on those things which they believe is real to them, and second is the sensual pleasure on the warriors, those warriors like those like, you know, in general we translate as warrior, just a 烦恼, kilesa, or defilements, we just say, or the defilements. And then they increase them. They will kind of like, you know, they are not just content with that. They want to increase them. That's the reason why here they translate at the second one as a content, right? Discontent is core, you know. So here I say, discontent. But here it's very interesting because in Pali with the words arati doesn't mean discontent. The word is just mean to, arati is mean to be away. But I'm going to explain it. That's why the commentary explain it differently. But for the sake of translation, they just translate discontent. Certainly by understanding the whole meaning of that. But now let me just keep on the commentary say. And then he increasing those things, what I mentioned earlier. And he will go for, and then in order to have the better increase in here, I mean here, if we get a better way, so he will go for anagariya, mean he will become no home, okay? He will live the household life. He become living the household life, refer to married life, okay? But here didn't use the word brahmacharya, just say anagarika, mean the people who are almost like just a practitioner, maybe he doesn't need to be a monk or what, but he just live that household life. And then he live in a kind of a, he gone to the remote place, and then he would sleep here and there. And in other words, he doesn't have the fixed place to stay. And that's how he have this arise, how to say, away from, that's how he have this away, because he he could live in this, how to say, the good, the wholesome Dhamma, living in the wholesome Dhamma. It means arati. Okay, but I'm not sure why it been translated this content, but I guess I understand. But later on, he think that way. He say, oh, you know, it is difficult. It is difficult. Basically, actually, he lived that way, but he start to think that it's difficult to have this kind of renunciation life. Okay, that's why he feel discontent. And later on, and then it attached to other kind of living thing. So he become harassed. That's why it said he become harassed by Kuppi Basa, like the third one. That is mean when he was not very happy where he stay here and there, he doesn't really have a fixed place. And then he was such become, what is the third one?
Hunger, thirst.
Yeah, and he was kind of struck. He was harassed by the hunger and then the thirst. And then when those things struck in on them, the hunger and thirst struck in on that person, so the other type of the craving mind. So in other words, he will be defined. He will be defined by the craving mind, tanha, right? That's to say that his fourth is called a craving. That's how it arises. No, it's just, sorry, I read the wrong one. So defined by the craving mind. And when he was exhausted, when the mind is exhausted, so he become tina and mita. That is what we call dullness and lethargy that comes along. And then he lived in the forest. That is kind of like even kind of forest that is far away from the forest. Meaning it is in the forest, but it's not just a forest that close to the city, but really far away from the forest. I mean, when they leave those places really far away, and he started to get fear, terror. So that's why here they translate as the word fear. But the Piru I rather translate as, yeah, it's okay. Piru could say just fear. But fear usually we translate as paya, but Piru, I would say coward, like cowardness, like that. It's more like that. He having the idea of the fear, the fear, his mind always thinking about something that fear, like he was staying in such a deep, a dense forest like that. So that's, then he start to have this kind of cowardness arises, okay? And because of the existence of those doubt that come with the fear, in a long time, so those mind of grasping on the taste of the renunciation. Viveka is not just renunciation. The viveka usually means you can out of the defilements. The mind that love or love those kind of out of the defilements, kind of like gone, because the doubt and with the fear always disturb him. And those in original why he wanted to stay in the forest, because he loved those renunciation, right? The renunciation of defilement. So, and then he would think, no such a thing called the path. So that's how he understood that. In other words, there's no such a thing called the practice, you know. So even though this verse so far we read it this way, like it said, Mara, this is your army, but like, he didn't say this is Mara, this is you, this is your army. He here, according to commentary, refer to kind of situation that people, when they are really go for renunciation, to go to practice, and this kind of thing will almost like step by step will come to invade their mind, you know. So that been understood as the army of the Mara, right? We haven't done that yet. So far, any other thing? We will continue. If not, it took me a long time to read this basically, because I didn't expect. I was just only find the word why RDB translate this, and then later on I come to it. So while we know that, then he will start to have those doubt about the path. He say that there's no such a path called, you know, that will. There was such a called patipatiya, mean the method of practice that someone can renounce from the craving. So, and this is why he say the number 7, right? Mm-hmm. Because your 7 is vacillating doubt, right? And then now that's how the doubt comes. Even though then we know that Torah in Pali means even that being clean, having cleaned that doubt. So now come to the next one, to number 8 one. So those trifle, with that trifle attainment, he gained the number 8, hypocrisy and obstinacy. Okay. With the trifle attainment, according to Pali, apamatakena visesa adhigamena. Through those trifle special attainment on the trifle thing, so he gained the mana and makka and tamba, the 3 things. One is a proud. Makka is the, what did he try to say here? Actually, makka is more like the Chinese usually say fu gai de fu. Makka is more related to you try to hide yourself. You have attainment, but you are not the fully attainment. Then you are kind of like, first you have the proud, and the second you hide what is not good to yourself. You don't want to expose your weakness to others. That's the cover up. Yeah, the cover up. And then the third one is tamba, mean become stubborn. You know, even he have cleared the doubt, you know, with that. And then he come to this kind of 3 kind of thing as the number 8. But here, translate only 2, right? It should be 3. Hypocrisy, obstinacy, what does it mean? That means you're stubborn. But one more, actually, it should be the what you call cover up. He didn't translate, I guess, yeah. It's always 5 translation funny. The 3 words together. And then after even he cleaned that one, and he stay in cleaning that one, with the better attainment, kind of like further attainment, you know. Based on that, so it comes to the number 9. That is, I want to see what they translate here first. Gain, reputation, and honor. So, and it comes to the number 9, the gain, and then the honor, a reputation. What reputation is sakara, and then siloka is the fame. Yeah. and he look for the fam. So arise. Okay, this is almost like kind of like describe the mind, right? And then those kind of mind, the mind that wanted the gain, and then the reputation and the honor arise. When those infatuated, like those treating, infatuated with that person, that disguise, according to Pali, Dhammadipa, okay, that disguise as the Dhamma, as a teaching, disguise, yeah, as a Dhamma. So the number 10, it's come together. So that's why the Miccha Ayasam, the falsehood, arrived at. Okay. From that, then he would say, stand in his position and saying, and he praised himself and disparaged the others. So that's why here the commentary say, from the karma up to that, all 10 is to be understood in such a way. So, does it make any better sense to you?
So this is actually talking about somebody who went renounced.
Maybe even including the Buddha, more or less. I'm not sure. But here, even the commentary say somebody maybe out of respect. Yeah. But it's kind of like, at least whether it's referred to anyone or what, but the Buddha say, I know your retinue or your servant or your army, they are these 10. And in commentary, describe that as, it easily happen to any people who go for renunciations, you know, and then they have to have different kind of problem in their practice during the time. All right, why don't we just have a little break and see, not break, I mean, see what do you have, any comments and so forth. I would just want to drink something.
Here it says the highest feeling. What does that refer to?
I have to look at it. Actually, that time I didn't look at it because I was just only checking the word. Let me see, did he say anything?
And follow that is a being's pure state, which I don't understand either.
Let me, I had to look for the verses first. Did I put the verse over here? Okay. He didn't say that higher being is related to no, it didn't mention it's nothing to do with the Uttama Vedana, the highest feelings. So he could actually basically mean different kind of suffering. He could able to feel that it's happiness. Like almost like when there's a cold, he could feel the hot. When there's a hot, he could feel the cold. Yeah. So, and in other words, mean when there's a thirsty, he could eat. When there's a, all this, he could really fulfilling, So this is what he mean by that. It mean he have a clear mind, can understand those things. So that's what I mean by the highest feeling. I mean he would not disturb by those kind of different sensations. So according that the commentary we are saying. In other words, even commentary saying that's referred to his 5 karma guna, you know, 无功德, 无欲功德嘛, Chinese usually translate, 就是 refer to the 5 senses, you know.
And the pure state?
No, that doesn't mention anything. No, the pure state here just mean he so the pure state here say he could see or he could just actually live from those problems, mean by the pure state. And here also saying that kind of pure state also just to show that actually he could, with that kind of pure mind, that he could show the Mara, he could break the Mara view. This is what he wanted to, according to the commentary way of saying. So that's why he keep on saying later and say that because he would not disturb by that, even those 5 senses, right? 5 core senses. So, and that's why he tell the Mara, karma is that's your first army. So, according to the commentary, I understand. It has nothing to do with the meditation state here. At least no word mentioned. Yeah. Okay.
Unwholesome quality or feeling?
Actually, that's why I say the word pure should be translated, I would translate as cowardness. 没胆. Not the paya, not the word paya. It's more like, but fear can be good and bad at too, because sometimes we use the same word Pali. Paya refer to your fear of the doing something wrong, but you also can be because you are doing meditation in a very isolated place, you get fear too. But now I'm saying this word here, yupiyo, it's not a paya. In other words, the word very clear means he's coward. He have no meal done. Chicken, he's chicken. So I mean, according my understanding, well, at least according to the Pali, I won't say. No, it would like to fear that you did even a minor thing that will harm yourself. So, and then that will harm, that will become unwholesome thing that harm yourself, and unwholesome thing that will harm the other. They will disturb the other.
That's a wholesome fear?
Yeah.
Okay. And other types of fear are usually unwholesome?
If the fear because that somebody crash your death confident, of course that's unwholesome. I get this here basically were saying that people that describing the persons got fear because in a long time he was staying in the very thick forest, right? And he lived there, and then the death fear comes along. In other words, you could say he stayed alone for so long, he get fear. And here, not describe a fear, he was become cowardness. At first, it was very bold to go there, right? Later, he just started to feel like, you know, many reasons that comes to him. Okay. Any other comments too? We are talking too slow? I think I'm not sure about other, but I find it very interesting because actually when first I just read through like that, but later when I read the commentary, I find, oh, okay. And I think I need to remember this. Okay.
It's actually very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And where are we now? Are we again? We finished that 10, right? But also the last thing I want to say is that if no comment, the last thing I like to say that, but of course in commentary it say that then he lived in the what you call the falsehood, like the falsehood, and then just to praise himself, and desperate other. In other words, to scorn the other. Say the other people is not good. I'm the only the best one, like that. Everybody's other people wrong, like that. That's kind of falsehood. Okay. Now next one, shall we just read Namuji, right? Okay.
Namuji, that is the striking force of Kan. One who is not a hero cannot conquer it, but having conquered it, one obtains happiness. That where munja grass, I don't know what it is. I have had enough of life here. Death in battle is better for me than that I should be conquered in good. Plunging to this battle, some renunciants and Brahmins are not seen, and they do not know the road by which those with good vow go.
Okay, all right. So, and then he say, Namunji, you know that Namunji means not letting go. But anyway, at the end he let go, okay. And Namunji, so basically that's kind of the beating or the striving force of the Kanha. You know the meaning, also his name also kind of twisted the language, say, Namunji, you are the Kanha also, But Kanha literally means dark, Somehow the dark is always referred to not the black dark one, okay.
So actually the last sentence, plunging to this battle. So this is paragraph describing those that went to renunciant life and didn't work out. So they are lost, sort of. Can I understand?
No, I would say the striving force here, the striving force of Kanha, striking force of the Kanha, beating basically, the striking force of Kanha. According to the commentary, the striking force refer to the obstacle that crashing like a robbery, rob the samana and brahmana. Those who are the brahmana and the samana. That means the practitioner, like a samana and brahmana. So here is a kind of simile saying that the striking is almost like a robbery. It's as an obstacle, like a robbery to rob the practitioner, you could say.
Right. And what's the story about the munja grass?
I will say that later. Yeah, and then the munja grass is basically, munja is a kind of I think it's a ham, I would translate it. But in those days, normally the munja is a kind of grass. I don't know, I'm not very good at vegetable. That maybe he knows. You should know. I'm joking. Do munja is a kind of grass to make the sandal? 草鞋. So yeah. But here, this is a idiomatical kind of thing. He say, should I wear munja grass? Is kind of like, because it's according. No. According to the commentary, this is a cultural thing, I guess. It's during the wartime, during the wartime you have a brave way, and then because you see the banner and all the drum and this, right? You think, oh, okay, fine in the war, because this is talk about like a battle. Now when you practice, it's like a battle, So, but when you see the munja grass, or here, although it's a where, but actually it means when I have to look at the Pali. But anyway, I will look at it later. But it means the munja grass is referred to. Though when you see the munja grass on the ground, mean these people were escaped because they're really scared, and they're what the shoe, those kind of shoe just on the ground. Like when you see the flat of the country, right? You will, oh, okay, but when you see all this, the ground is on this munja kind of shoe, made of the munja grass, and then you just thought these people escape. So of course then you get, what kind of battle I need to run away, you know. So according to the commentary is saying.
So they ran away and left their shoes behind.
Yeah, left like that.
Okay.
Okay.
So actually that.
Oh, so he said a sign of surrender. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But who's actually saying that though? Who's saying that?
The Buddha said that.
Oh,
The Buddha tell the Namuji that what mentioned before, the 10th thing is the striving force of the Kanha, right? But if someone who is not a hero, they cannot conquer those problems, like a 10, you could say the 10 kind of thing. So, and then in order to conquer and obtain happiness. But then the Buddha say, do you think I should really run away? Something like that, you know. But here, worse than that, because, I mean, like scare army, right? Like run for the life. Run for your life like that. Just run for your life like that. But he said I have enough life here, so.
I'm still a little bit confused.
Yes.
In the previous page says Mara is also known as Namucha and Kanha.
Mm-hmm.
But over here it says Namucha, that is the striking force of Kanha. I'm a bit confused about these two. One, the latter one, the Kanha, is description of what?
Kanha is his name, another name means dark.
Dark.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
You could understand like a dark force.
Are two different.
You mean striking, which one? Namuji is his name.
Right, but I mean, in
Yeah.
the previous page, you said, you know, the Mara is also known as Namucha and Kanha.
Yeah, yeah.
Both.
Kind of like Namuja, the dark force, or the dark person, or the dark. Like a Darth Vader, like that. The dark one, the dark one. Kanha means dark one, but here you could just simply say a name, Kanha.
But I thought he's talking to him, to Namucha, right? The same person, right?
Yeah. So I mean Namuja, even striking force here refer to beating up, right? The beating up of this Kanha is a kind of mocking, kind of a little like a mocking of the Kanha, that you've been mocking him, that you've been beaten, like that. Or maybe not mocking him. I kind of like Kanha. Is it striking force of Kanha here as mean the Kanha who have the striking force that actually could destroy like a robbery of those practitioners. Yeah. Sorry. But then he can say, unless he's a hero, otherwise there's no way to conquer, right? But then he replied to the Kanha again, say, should I really run away, like defeat the soldier, you know? That 很狼狈的 how to say in English? 很狼狈就跑了，对。Well, I'm sorry, I'd like to spend a little more time on this because usually when you read even the life of the Buddha, no such a beautiful statement there. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can almost use it as a political slogan here. Death in battle is better for me than I should be conquer and live.
Yeah. I mean, almost like Shakespeare kind of, you know, death in battle is better for me than that I should be conquer and live, you know.
Sounds like Henry V.
I'm not sure whether Sri Lanka they have using this to make a movie. Not movie mean they do have a drama. They have a lot of drama. If you know the Sinhalese, they have a really the government has sponsored a lot of money for them. So that's why if you understand the language, they have a lot of art school everywhere. They of course art school more than 80% to 90% all are Buddhist stories. Yeah, I don't know whether they make this kind of story. Otherwise, it must be interesting too. Yeah, and culturally, of course, that's their language and their culture, you know, and so forth. Yeah. Okay. All right. If no, any comment? Any comment? I like comment. I like to hear something.
I searched your Kanha. It has it is also referring to Krishna.
Oh.
No, that's another thing.
It's different.
No, that's another thing. Because you have to understand the same name actually depends. So, I mean, you that's why I don't just believe in the internet, because that's certainly nothing to do with this. You cannot find, because they have the same name. So, like David, you know, so that refers you are the David Star, right? No. Yeah, David. Or David Copperfield or David Starr, I don't know. So I don't know which David, tell me. But you're right, actually Kanha also is another, in Hindu, it's another synonymous. But here, nothing to do with that. No, I don't think they have anything. It's clear here to refer to Mara, otherwise you will have a war. If you interpret that, I mean, this is Krishna, God, I mean, then it would be a big problem. No, they have no any such a meaning there. Okay. Mm. Okay. Now, why don't next one read? Yeah. Yes.
So this whole like story is, or sutta is before the Buddha before it became the Buddha.
Yeah, we come because when you look at L.14, the awakening and its aftermath. So this been arranged just before awakening.
Yeah. But the Buddha, it seems like from this conversation, the Buddha already had a lot of the like very wholesome qualities, like
Yeah,
he abandoned sensual pleasures. Like,
don't forget he had meditate very good meditation state before he left the two teachers. And then he went to forest, even before he really go to the forest also, maybe even in between he go to forest and so on and forth, he had practiced all kind of these self-modification, right? The torturing, you know, all these thoughts. And then at this stage, here, to say that then the Mara, somehow, that time he lived in the Niranda, he haven't attained Buddhahood yet. So he found the places suitable for him to practice. And then the Mara feel that he could be succeed in a way. So, and that's why he came down. Actually here, when you look at the commentary, it's two Mara came. This is the first Mara, okay? Not just one Mara. The first Mara is called this one, Namuji and Kangha. And then the next Mara we would really call Papisa. Papisa, Papi, what a Papi. Anyway, so anyway, that's the first Mara, okay?
okay, so like, I guess like the Buddha, at this point, the Buddha hasn't become the Buddha yet.
But he had good experience, of course.
But like all these experiences, are they just meditation, like concentration meditation experiences?
Well, we also read it, because you were not here last week. Last week was all about self-modification. There he did mention he tried to stop the breath and so forth. Or even he plucked his hair. But the pluck is earlier time. Then later he tried to stop his breath, and then so that he had that and so forth. I mean, I suspect that means the meditation. I'm not sure, but I suspect that something to do with the meditation. Otherwise, why you want to say you close your mouth, close your nose, close your ears, breathing, so and so forth. Yeah.
Right.
But the meditation is nothing to do. Might be later. This is how we understood. I'm not sure, but understood that it's nothing to do with the jhana. But certainly he tried kind of meditation, just purely doing observing the physical body, and he can control the wind element and so forth. According to the description. Yeah.
So at this point, has the Buddha already abandoned like sensual pleasures, like dullness, fear, hypocrisy?
Yeah,
doubt?
that's what he say. That's what he tell. That's why he tell the Namuji, because Namuji will try to pursue him as a Mara, pursue him that, you're doing this, you will not gaining anything. You could just do a practitioner, but you can gain much more thing. Yeah. So that's why he say the 10th thing is a kind of, you could say he was describing the other person, but you could also say he had gone through all this kind of problem. So he say, I understood this is what you mean by the army. That's because, as a Mara just alone is no power, but he must have the army with him. So those are the 10 armies with him.
So does that mean the Buddha has already abandoned all those things? Like it just
No,
like
abandon, the word abandon is very tricky. You could say yes, temporarily definitely he's abandoned that. That's why he could claim that, you see. He come to the point that abandoned the 10th thing already. So,
'cause I feel like
but that doesn't mean that he's enlightened yet. Yeah.
because it just otherwise it feels like if he's abandoned those things sort of permanently or
No. Even in language, we always understand abandon according to commentary or according to the Abhidhamma, what the system. Usually we say that there are 3 types of abandon, but I'm not going to describe that now. But generally abandon, you don't understand abandon mean completely. Let's say now I abandon my anger. It doesn't mean I abandon my anger all the time, permanently.
so like once if someone reaches the first level of sainthood, they like the lower fighters that are abandoned.
Well,
are they
I did this, but because there are many things to discuss, we can go there. I will just answer this. We can leave it back. Yeah, back to the book. Even somebody who attend the first sainthood, according to the sutta, so the Buddha said that already. Even though he have abandoned those things, that doesn't mean that he will not fall again. Fall mean he would not return to as a normal people. He would not. But he might be fall in the same problem if his environment change or because he associated the wrong person and so forth. But because he have attended sainthood as a first fruit sainthood, of course, even though he would fall on that kind of pitfall, he fall into that kind of pitfall, but he still depend on person, but somehow he will recover. Okay.
I have a question about these 2 sentences. How come I feel they contradict to each other?
Which one?
Namuchi. And it says, if you're not a hero, you can't come. 就是不是英雄你不战，你要是战了，你就会获得 happiness。然后下面又说 ，sorry about my Chinese。下面又说，我宁愿战死，我也不愿意去comfort and live.
Yeah, but then I don't understand the question here. But he would just kind of, I guess he want to say that only the hero can conquer this problem. But of course, you could say, in other words, he say one. It doesn't mean the one is mean the Namuchi. He say only those people. One here referred to only those people who are the hero. They can conquer those problems. Yeah. So it means that only those who are really a hero, they can conquer those problems. But then he asked again, should I really abandon myself, surrender? So in other words, the Buddha say, I don't want to surrender myself. So that's another way to show that he doesn't want to surrender. Is it clear?
Okay, I'll think about it. Sorry.
Okay.
I just want to verify.
Uh,
Did you say when somebody who's strength enters, still going to have those 10 situations.
No, like Sakaya Ditti, we always say that the stream enter will have the eradicate the view of the body, the Sakaya Ditti, right? Senjian, and then the doubt, right? But if you look at the sutta, the Buddha sometimes did mention, even in Chinese as well as the Pali, say the same thing, that I do not say that these people, even they have attainment, they would not fall into a trap again.
Yeah. So they still have to...
If they have, that's why the commentary explained that if the people who are, let's say, they've been too far away from the right place, they will fall, even they are stream enter. However, because they are stream enter, so they will pick up easily back. You cannot assume them, they will never make mistake, in other words. Yeah, that Buddha say very clearly. I know that a lot of people learn teachings, they always think, oh, you are stream enter, you should not do that. Like, you know, like anybody, like, but depends, your environment really so bad that somehow because it's not complete cut off the craving, right? Not complete cut off all this, even though the very moment they have the right view and all this, and they understand what is Nibbana, but they are not deep enough, you know. This is why during the Buddha's time, they are not very, very stable, kind of like, but they will never fall back to any other thing. They are not stable in a sense, not like Arahant, they're always stable, you know, not like even Anagami is so stable. Otherwise, if they are the Sotapanna and Sakadagami, they are somehow, you could see that in Agama, it's quite that they are not 100% stable. The Buddha always advised them, no, sometimes you cannot go to practice alone, even like that. Yeah. I can understand that part, I guess, yeah. When you live in America for such a long time. No, I mean, it's nothing to do with America. I mean, like, if you don't have the good friend around you, you know, sometimes at least to give you some remind you, well, don't forget, you still have something to do. Okay, let's have a little break. Thanks for the discussion, and let's have 10 minutes break and we come back. Okay.